Hello there and welcome. My name's Sophie Howard and I am about to spend some time with you helping you find your first product to sell on Amazon. So I've been doing this for the last 5 or so years now, pretty much full time, spending a lot of my time and energy looking for that perfect Amazon product. And a lot of the stuff I've figured out over the last few years of what works, what makes $1 million product, what kind of product did I learn a good lesson from and wouldn't go back near those ones again. And really just constantly fine-tuning and redefining my product selection criteria, the way I work with suppliers, the tools I use to do my research, all of that stuff's always changing because Amazon's a dynamic platform. There's a lot of professional sellers there. It's no platform to be dabbling and hoping that if you make a lucky guess with a product, you're going to be just fine. You really need to master the science of product selection. So it's all very easy when you know how. A lot of it's not taking up very much time. It's very transparent as a research process. All the products currently selling on Amazon, you can look at them on Amazon. You can see the price, you can see the images, you can see their ranking, you can see their sales, you can see what keywords they're using. So we're not flying blind here. We've got this really fantastic opportunity to choose profitable products. So what I want to do in this session is spend some time helping you get really clear on what makes a winning Amazon product and showing you how to go through the steps to find your first product. So let's get started. Now, just to explain why I call these products blue sky products. This is the term I've been using to describe the products that I really like on Amazon. These are the ones that I look for. They've got very low competition. They're not surrounded by 50 other sellers who found the same products on Alibaba the same week using the same research tool. These are products that are a little bit less mainstream and they've got a lot less competition. And because of the way Amazon works, and I'll show you this in a demonstration a bit later on, most customers shopping on Amazon buy from the first page of search results. So they don't go browsing through the catalogue, clicking on the layers of how Amazon's organised all the products available for sale. Customers will typically just type in the product they're looking for. So I'm looking at things on my desk right now. So an orchid or an orchid pot plant or something like that. Customers will type in that very specific keyword. They know exactly what they're looking for. And the beauty of Amazon is that they're there to go shopping. They're not on Amazon to be social or share what they've been up to or get inspiration. They're really just there to go shopping. And Amazon has done a fantastic job of getting their side of the platform, so the side that the customer sees when they go shopping. They make that really, really easy for customers to find what they want. They make it really easy for customers to check out. They have their credit cards loaded, so there's one click to order. Amazon has all the shipping sorted with Prime, and otherwise really fast, either free shipping or very fast shipping. So it's a really, really great customer experience, and that really helps us sell our products. So I have no doubt at all in my mind that Amazon is the platform to be selling on. But the $1 million question is what to sell. So I am really looking forward to spending some time with you now on working out how to find these first Amazon products, how to come up with the ideas, how to then assess those ideas. And we'll start with a little bit going down the track of finding suppliers. But this is really kind of an introduction to the whole product sourcing game. And this is where the Amazon game is won or lost. If you've got a product that nobody searches for, it's not a good Amazon product. You need people to already, and you've got to find this when you do your homework on the product idea, check that there's other people already making money using that product. So selling that product. So you don't want to go in with a completely unheard of product and try and educate your customers about the product on Amazon. That won't work. People go there typing in a keyword that they already know what they're looking for. The other thing that I see a lot of Amazon sellers get wrong is they find a product that can sell all right, but they don't make any profit on it. So they get really busy launching away, finding products all around the world, doing all that hard work to make 5 cents profit per sale or worse. Sometimes I see people going backwards by the time they've paid storage fees and pay-per-click advertising and some of the other costs that people don't really focus on at the front end when they're doing research. So over the years, I've developed various checklists and tools that I use when I'm doing my product research. Things like a spreadsheet so I can calculate all the fees and expenses associated with the product I'm looking at. So there's no surprises that mean my profit suddenly turns into a red line and it's negative. I really, really am focused on profit all the time from the very beginning. So welcome, let's get started. So what I want to start with today is having a look at your Amazon strategy. Then we'll have a look at the top 10 best product niches and why. And so a lot of this has been based on my own experience, and some of it's just how Amazon works and where the competition is. We'll also have a look at coming up with ideas for products. We'll have a look at assessing those products. So that's looking at the level of demand, the level of competition, how to calculate your profit, and some of those X factor things that make a product a real winner, because you really need to have a point of difference with your product. We'll do some live product demos. We'll hop onto some of the research tools, onto Amazon itself, and we'll start doing some brainstorming on how you can make your product stand out. So I'll show you some worked examples of products that have been done really well on Amazon. They've been private labeled and they've gone on to be successful sellers and make a lot of profit for those people selling those products. So what I've seen over the years is that there's obviously a lot of people doing this, a lot of people making a lot of money selling on Amazon. I think the last figure I saw was 140,000 people make 100K a year or more in sales selling products on Amazon. So if you compare that to driving an Uber or working a second job or all the other things that you can do as a side game to increase your income, then this whole passive income stream through some smart, well-chosen Amazon products is very attractive, and it can scale and it lets you keep your lifestyle without going crazy, and it fits into any time of the day that you can find to do it. And also you can be anywhere in the world running your Amazon business. So there's a lot of great things once you've got this right, but you can't just stumble into it and hope that you can guess your way through and pick a winning product without knowing how to do it. So in this session, I'll try not to talk too fast. I'll break it up into a few shorter videos so that it doesn't take you forever to download it and play it, and you can break it up and sort of get some little chunks of work and chunks of watching videos and not get too overwhelmed. But this is the structure and the sequence that I do my own product research in. I've got a more detailed program than we've got time to cover in today's session, so I'll mention more about that at the very end. But this is going to be a really in-depth, hands-on dive into finding your first product. So let's get into it. Now, let's start with the big picture, the whole Amazon strategy. What is the big game in town here? What's the way to win on Amazon? So I've spent a lot of time launching products, but I've also had some really big wins thanks to doing my research right and working with the right kind of products and suppliers. So the first product I launched, I bought for about $3, and I sold that product for nearly $30. And I only had to buy about 75 units my first order. So I was up and selling on Amazon for $300, which was fantastic. Very happy with that. And it meant that I could start going into restocking and spending money on pay-per-click advertising and all those things, because I hadn't spent every last dollar filling a container with some product that I hadn't tested that the market wanted. So I've always been a really big fan of these small launches and starting small, even when I've had a much bigger budget available in later years, when I've had some big successes with my businesses. I still always start as small as I can possibly negotiate. And the model that I use is called private labeling. So some of you might have heard of private labeling. If you've already been selling on Amazon, you'll know that this is one of the main ways that people make the most profit, because what you're basically doing is creating your own whole brand. So you don't need to invent the product or become an actual manufacturer. You work with somebody who already makes a generic product, but then you also commission a designer to do some unique packaging and logo and branding on your product, giving it your own name. So you can choose whatever name you want for your products, for your logo, for your brand, for your company name, and that becomes your brand. And that's really, really important. And that's one of the things that we do differently when we're playing a bigger game on Amazon. There's things that you can do differently. So you can sell other people's products, you can do partnerships, you can buy existing products wholesale. You can do a thing called retail arbitrage, which is buying existing products and reselling them when you see them on discounted pricing and know you can sell them for a little bit more on Amazon. I know people do that, but it's very labor intensive and the margins are super tight. And there's kind of just diminishing returns. You've got lots of quite aggressive people out there looking for those existing products that you can all compete on price, but you've got no point of difference with your product. So I like to have my own unique product under my own brand name, and I own that completely. So what that means is I can set the price for my product, which is cool. It means Amazon doesn't decide what the price is. They're not going to do their own home brand of it. Also, if I want to sell my business, that brand's really valuable. And it means people can't copy my product. It's a unique product. I'm the only person with authority to sell it on Amazon or on any channel or platform. And it's mine, which is a really nice feeling. So it means you control the price, everything to do with that product, the photos you use, the images, the listing, the descriptions of the product. That's all up to you to do well. And when you do that well, you can be looking at profit margins of 30 or 40%, which is really neat. We can really enjoy that level of profit margin, which you don't get when you look at the other business models like selling other people's brand. That's much tighter margins. Now, with private labeling, there is one downside, and I do need to tell you about this early on. I think it's totally worthwhile because you get so much more profit later on once you're up and selling. But what it means is you have to buy the product up front. So you go online, do your research, you go online, find a supplier, then you pay the supplier to produce the product and ship it into the Amazon warehouse. So that's a bit of a big push to get started. You've got to make some decisions and spend some money, but then you fully own that product. And as I said, my first launch was about $300, so it doesn't need to be big. But when you private label, that's the way round that it works. You buy the product up front for, say, $3 and you sell it when it lands in Amazon for, say, $30. So you get a much, much better profit margin. But you also just need to be aware that that's the sequence of events. You buy the product first and sell it second. There are other models out there where you can sell the product before you've placed an order with the supplier. That's called drop shipping. There's some benefits to that, but again, it's hard to have a unique product because you're going to only be able to access product that the supplier already has on hand, so it won't be your unique product in quite the same way. And it's, in my mind, not as good as private labeling. It also doesn't work quite so well on Amazon to do drop shipping. So private labeling requires working with a manufacturer and a designer, assuming you're neither a manufacturer or a designer yourself, and then creating a unique new listing on Amazon, setting the price, describing your product, advertising your product. I don't tend to do big launches. We'll talk about that in a moment. I don't do big giveaways or anything. And the game is to get my product onto page 1. So that means when somebody goes onto Amazon and puts in the search term that they're looking for a paperweight, then Amazon will put on page 1 a whole bunch of different paperweights that they think you're most likely to buy. So they'll show the most common and popular ones. They'll show some expensive ones, some cheap ones made of different materials. But Amazon is particularly clever at working out what people have been buying in the past and using that to predict which products are going to be most popular for customers in the future. And Amazon wants a sale. So one of the other nice things about private label is your brand helps Amazon grow their business. So you're adding new products to the Amazon platform, which Amazon loves. They're trying to be the number one customer destination for all shopping. And the more variety they've got, the better. And they don't want more cheap product. They want more high price product. They don't want to be in a commodity game. They want to be getting the premium stuff and the gift shopping and Q4 when everyone goes crazy buying gifts for the holiday season. So that's Amazon's game, is to basically make it very easy for us to load up our new products that we've created and sell them on the Amazon platform. So Amazon's monthly fees are very low to do that, only about $40 a month. And they don't charge us any other big expenses in our business. Apart from when we sell our product, then we get charged some Amazon fees on each sale. But at that point, we're getting paid as well. So Amazon makes money at exactly the same time that we make money. They are incentivized to make our products sell, and they've got some fantastic ability with the way their software all works to match up what the customer searched for with our product to make sure it's a relevant result in the search engine on Amazon. So page one of all those search results for a customer is full of relevant options, and the customer's very, very likely to buy one. So we want to get onto page one with a really strong offer that customers are going to love. So when we go for a high competition product, something that's very mainstream, like say a yoga mat, there's pages and pages and pages of really good listings of yoga mats. It's a very obvious product. And what that means is when you turn up, even if you've done a lovely job of a logo and you've got a nice packaging thing or a free yoga mat bag or whatever you do, even then, because it's a competitive category, it's very hard to get onto page one. So part of my strategy is to go for low competition products only. So that can be the whole niche is low competition, something like, I don't know, some obscure sport might be low competition, but something like barbecue utensils will be high competition. So I always like to go for premium pricing. If I can get my price above $30, I'm very happy. 20s is fine, but in the teens, just the way the Amazon fees work, it's very hard to make much margin. And some of the products I've sold have been for hundreds of dollars, and then you don't need to sell very many of those at all to make a good profit margin. So that's the way to get ahead, is not to have a price war with a kind of a race to the bottom on pricing. Much, much better to have a quality product that you charge top dollar for. Amazon makes more money as well the more expensive our product is. So if they can help us sell it, they will prefer to sell a more expensive product rather than a cheaper one. Now, of course, this doesn't work for every single category of product or every single keyword, but in general, that's a good part of the strategy, is to go premium. And then when you build your brand, that's a premium, high-quality brand. You've done the packaging nicely, a nice logo. Everything's well photographed and looks really professional. The product's got some nice features and advantages and benefits that the customers love. And it all works out, to benefit both us and Amazon, and that's the way we want to do it. So building a brand, this is another really important part of the strategy, because I build my businesses to sell. So as you can see on those bullet points, number 4 and 5, you're building a brand, but you're also planning to sell it. So what that means is you start by doing all the business systems. Everything's very organized and methodical how you start the business. You don't have a shoebox full of receipts 2 years from now, but you've got everything set up on software for tracking your numbers. Some of that can be free software or very, very low cost, but just makes it so much easier to run your business, watching the key metrics and making sure that your brand is going to be sellable one day. So I sold my first Amazon business for over $1 million. And I sold another Amazon business the next year for a few $100,000. And I'm building another one now with the intention of selling that. And that's off to a really good start with really healthy margins, really simple product that customers love, and very, very low competition. I was on page 1 for that new brand. The first product I launched in that, I was on page 1 on the first day my product was for sale. So it's not selling 100 units a day. I don't need that. I need 10 products selling 10 units a day. That's a much healthier business. Now, launching. I hear a lot of noise out there about how people do launches, and I think it's such a waste of money. Generally, if you've chosen the right kind of product in a low competition niche, then when you launch, you need to do the basics well, but you don't need to start doing great big giveaways and paying influencers who are notoriously flaky, actually, delivering stuff on time with a very measurable return on your investment, and they're not cheap investments. So I like to just choose products that are a great fit for Amazon customers, where there's people searching but not strong competition also competing to win that sale. And so I like to keep everything very minimalist. When I launch, I do the minimum packaging I can get away with for that first product order. I might do fancier packaging later, but I start very, very simple. And I also negotiate with the suppliers to get a small initial order. So if I can keep the cost of my product launch right down, I've got a small order and I'm not doing big giveaways. With the same budget, I might launch 10 times as many products as someone who's just doing one big order of one big product and planning a big giveaway. So I like to have the most possible shots on goal. Then if they all work, you've got multiple income streams. If some of them don't work as well as others, you can focus on the strongest winners. And you've just got so much more data rather than just trying to pick one winner. So the more products you can start with a fixed budget, the better. But still, for your first product, just do one, even if you've got plenty of budget to spare. Choose one product that's quite quick to launch, that's a small order size, and try and get up and selling quickly. So one thing I've noticed with successful Amazon sellers is they build up some momentum and then they just keep on rolling. Whereas people that start and stop or dabble just never really get into those work habits and that flow of building new products all the time. So I launched 4 products this week. I spent less than $1,000 launching 4 new products. 3 of them are a whole new brand, and 1 of them's another whole new brand. So always adding into that pipeline of products, always getting data, getting feedback from customers, working out where to scale, and I've had, very, very high success rate, not 100%, of course. Anybody who tells you it's 100% is definitely not telling you the truth, because I see all of these people talking behind the scenes, and everybody's always just on that search for the perfect Amazon product. One thing I do differently is source products where no one else is looking. I won't go too much into that now because we're just on day 1 and you haven't even really got started yet, but I definitely have benefited massively from sourcing products not just from platforms like Alibaba. I don't have any products from China at the moment. And since my very first product, I've sourced from other countries, from other types of suppliers, and I've just kept away from the crowds. And that's been brilliant for lots of reasons. One is my products are unique with a great story and stand out in the competition. It means I can charge a premium price because of the way the products are made and where they come from. People really realize that that's a quality product that they're getting. And then the third thing is it's very hard for people to copy me because a lot of my suppliers don't even have websites. I've found them, over the years, some online, some not online, mostly online. The first few years, all my products I found online. But over time, I've just started trying to make my products harder to copy. If I can see something like it on Alibaba, there's a handful of other closely related sellers with similar products who are bound to move in on my patch when I start. And I've started to be able to read that pretty well. And I can show you what that looks like when it's about to happen. Then you don't want to do a product that's going to get copied quickly. So my first product that I launched in 2014, so 5 years ago now, I still make tens of thousands of dollars of profit every month off that first product I launched for $300. So this is why it gets addictive, and this is why so many people sell on Amazon. These little first orders can turn into 6 or even 7-figure streams of income that can totally change your lifestyle. So I've sold an Amazon business the first time and cleared my mortgage. We built a new house the second time. We sold an Amazon business. And now the third one I'm doing, I'll grow that for a little bit longer, I think, this time, and see how far I can take it. I've always focused on Amazon. I see a lot of people getting distracted with Facebook and Instagram and doing funny stuff with bot messengers. There's always someone out there saying this is the latest shiny new thing you need. I find a lot of those have got very, very short, if any, benefits, especially if everybody jumps on that tactic all at once. So keep things really simple and play things really straight with Amazon. Don't fiddle reviews or try and rig your ranking, or I don't even like the big giveaways. I think that's not quite what Amazon really wants for their customers. Page 1 to be full of products that aren't really a good match for those products. They're only coming up because somebody's doing a big giveaway which gets them onto the top of page 1. So you'll see as you get more established selling on Amazon some of the tactics and things that go on. But I keep it very simple. I move really fast in choosing the products, and then I really focus on being able to get a good profit margin on those products I'm sourcing. So that's my strategy in a nutshell. We won't go too much more into that now, but that's sort of just the big picture of how I operate and the model that's let me have some really, really great results over the last few years, and pretty consistently across different categories and different markets and different countries of Amazon. I've been sourcing products from lots and lots of countries, probably well over 10 different countries I've been sourcing products. So I've learned a lot about international business and supply chains and shipping and all these other things that come later. But let's get you started initially, just focusing in on products. Now, your Amazon business, this is where your products are going to sit. And there's three layers in your entity that you're about to start up. So what we'll talk about a little bit later on is some of the stuff that you do when you're selling your business. But the way I like to set things up from the beginning is to have an intention for the business. So the ones I start, I plan to sell one day. I want them to be 6 and preferably 7-figure paydays, and in a year or two from now, not 10 years. So I want to move fast, I want to scale up, and I want to get a big lump sum. I want a lump sum that pays for house and cash and a nice house, so I can build a portfolio of other types of assets. And the first business I sold got me completely out of, we didn't have any other debt, just mortgage, but paid that off. And then we went traveling. We went to live on the beach in Bali for 3 months with the kids before our eldest started school. I wanted to only launch products I was proud of and felt happy selling. I saw some absolute junk being sold on Amazon, which I could see people were making money on, but really the stuff was just dreadful. So I tend not to have tacky bits of plastic gimmicky stuff. I try and have quality, wholesome products, or products I would use myself, or products where I really understand what the customer's looking for. It gives me an advantage selling it, but it also makes it not feel really like work. It's something I'm interested in, and it's really easy to understand what's going through the customer's mind as they weigh up my product against the competition's, for example. So I really like to, from the very beginning, be clear about why I'm doing this. So it's initially, for me, it was about financial freedom. I was stuck in a day job. I had 2 children at home, a baby and a toddler. I had this little window of maternity leave, and I decided to go for it. And I'm so glad I did. If I hadn't got started then, I don't think I would have ever started, because I'd have been back at work and I just grabbed that opportunity. So I was still working part-time on a contract. I was paying the nanny pretty much more than I was earning by the time I paid her for all the extra hours I was commuting, and I was definitely getting a full-time workload from my workplace despite being on part-time hours. So I was really pushing it and burning the candle at both ends. I was getting no sleep with the kids, up all night, and then I was working really hard in the day, and I just didn't feel like I had any budget to start a business. I didn't have any mental headspace to start a business, and so I just sat around and not got it started for ages. But then one day I'd been at work, and the nanny who looked after the kids sent me a text message of her being down at the beach with the kids, having a great old time, and I was sort of realised what I was missing out on. So I decided there and then I was going to work out how to do this. So I was very determined. I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to do it, but I knew at that point I would start my own business and it would work. So that meant I started it without mucking around. I invested in education. I really did the work on my first product because I wanted it to work. I didn't have enough budget sitting there to launch 10 products, trial and error. I had to think and use my brain and figure out what would work. So I didn't need millions. I was, just needed to replace my income. So my initial goals weren't big, but if you see my 2020 goals for next year, they're really big. So as you get more confident and have more resources behind you to grow, then you can get very ambitious with this game. But start small and start fast, and just kind of keep the day job, because if you don't need to draw money out of your business short term, it really helps you scale up the products and do big orders to stay in stock. So that's been one of the things I've really benefited from, was not having to draw money out of the business in the first year or so. So really good when you're choosing your product to think about who would want the product and how it would make them feel. So we can't sell a product just on its features. We don't, say, I don't know, a paperweight, it's a certain weight, it'll stop your paper blowing away. But the effect is you've got something nice to look at that makes you, feel like there's something beautiful on your desk. You feel organized because all your papers are together and things aren't messy. So it's not so much the features of the product, it's the emotional side of how the customer benefits from using your product. That's the hook we need to be thinking about before we've even chosen the product. So we'll show you that in the training, and let's keep moving on through these slides. But you've got your Amazon business, so you've got a company, or you might trade as a sole proprietor, or however you get advised on your setup at that level. And then you have a professional Amazon seller account. So that means you pay some monthly fees, but then you can have unlimited sales and listings and access to all the advanced settings within your Amazon seller account, where you load up your products to sell. And that's brilliant. It means you can play as big or small a game as you want, but you're paying to be on that platform $40 or $50 a month, and that means you're there with access to all those Amazon customers. You just need to put good products in front of them. So you've got your Amazon business that you own, you've got your Amazon professional seller account. Then within your Amazon seller account, you can have as few or many brands as you want. Each brand might have 100 products in, or at the beginning it might just have one product, but that's the kind of hierarchy that you'll have to get set up with at the beginning. So a company or a business level, that's you and any other shareholders. Keep it as simple as you can, but get your own advice on that, obviously, because it's different for everyone. Depends on whether you want to, too many things to go into. I'm not a tax or legal person, but get advice on what company's best for you for trading. And then a professional Amazon account, brands within that Amazon account. They can all be unrelated brands. You can have one brand or 50 brands. And then within each brand, you can have one product or hundreds of products. So the world is your oyster, and there's so many profitable products out there. I've never felt that there's any kind of need to be neurotic or have that feeling of scarcity. There's more products out there than I could possibly ever do myself that I know are profitable, which is why I'm always really happy to share with people how I do this and how to help other people succeed as Amazon sellers, making a really healthy passive income through being able to choose the right kind of product. So that's just sort of a little bit of background to how you're going to get set up. Now, let's have a look at product niches and which ones are the best. So I've discovered some of these, just stumbled across them. I launched a product based on, the type of product that looked good when I did my homework. But when I started selling it, I just sometimes got whooshed away with some unexpectedly brilliant sales. And something like an incontinence product or something embarrassing, I don't know, gonorrhea test kits or anything kind of related to sexual health or people's private lives or embarrassing bodily functions. They are brilliant for Amazon, especially if it's really important that it works, because people want a quality product if they're doing a test kit for something, or want an incontinence product to actually work, or a condom to work, whatever it might be. So sometimes there's going to be loyalty to the big brands on products. That's something we cover in the other product criteria, but these are just the niches. So embarrassing products are a really great category to look at selling in, because people like to buy them online for obvious reasons. They don't want to go to their local store and have to ask for them or be seen by their friends out shopping for them. So that's always been just something where if I can think of a product and it's embarrassing, I usually just go for it. It's a real advantage with your online business. Now, home decor is another category I really like, and I actually have started to really focus in on this. So whether it's a nice mango wood bowl with some tropical looking inlay, or a rattan mirror, or a wall hanging, or flat pack furniture, or a shelving unit. These can be quite big items, which means people are willing to pay a lot more money for them. And so that's good for lots of reasons. It's good because you don't need to sell as many of them. Your profit margins are better. It's not a classic category that lots of Amazon sellers sell in. It's one of my favorites because people are really transforming their space. It makes them feel really good. A lot of these are given as gifts, so housewarming gifts or birthday gifts or whatever. So people like to give sort of homeware type products. You can do a lot of research if you're in the States, Crate and Barrel or Anthropology or any of those stores where there's a bit of design thinking, but it's a very simple product. It's sourced from India or China or wherever, but the product itself is simple with basic materials just being nicely made. So lots and lots of products available there. A great category, one of my favorites, and I keep coming back to that one. Another thing that I really like in a product is the ability to create a subscription box. So when you sell a normal Amazon business, the multiple is kind of 3 times your net profit. So if I've made $1 million profit in the last year, I'll be able to sell that Amazon business for, say, $3 million cash on the day. However, if I've got a subscription box, so this is a business model where people don't just get one set of knitting gear, they join basically a club or a subscription that every month they get more knitting gear sent to them with a different pattern or different colours or whatever it might be. Those businesses don't sell for 3 times the profit. They sell for 12 times the profit because the future income's kind of already locked in. So as a business owner, it's brilliant. You sell month 1, but there's at least 11 more months of orders guaranteed. So brilliant for cash flow and confidence in your business, helps you manage inventory and all that stuff much more easily. So anything that can be turned into a subscription box. So there's subscription boxes for healthy snacks, there's subscription boxes like Bark Box for dog gear, there's subscription boxes for beauty products like Birchbox. So anything like that sort of repeat or consumable products, anything like that can be a really, really good Amazon product as well. So here's another category I really like, boutique foods. They've also got the potential to go into subscription boxes because there's plenty of subscription boxes out there, but it could be some organic dried fruit. It could be something like tahini that's really nicely presented there in a kind of a gift box with a variety of flavors, which looks really, if you're into tahini, that's a pretty good looking box. So the next question then is to assess the demand and assess your packaging and do all the work with the supply chain. But those sorts of categories are really good, finding boutique foodie things. It's again another lower competition category on Amazon, which I'm very fond of, and I've had some big wins in that food and beverage category on Amazon. I'm doing some new ones there at the moment as well. So Amazon's fees, we haven't got into this in detail yet. They're about a third of your sale price. So if you sell your bonsai starter kit for $100, then Amazon's fees might be about $30. So about a third goes to Amazon. But some of that is a bit sensitive to the size and the weight of your product. So if you try and sell a set of dumbbells, you're not going to make any money because Amazon's fees will all but consume your profit. Because there'll be so much weight to ship around. So you'll get stung twice, really. You've got to ship the stuff into Amazon, and that's going to cost you a fortune. And then Amazon's going to charge you a fortune in fees if it's really big and bulky. Now, later on, you can, of course, start doing these more ambitious products like furniture that is big and bulky and expensive. But then you're charging a lot of dollars in the sale price, so it's profitable. But early on, I would go small and light and something that you can send in by Air Express, rather than having to do it by sea shipping. So I've just been helping someone with an Amazon product earlier on today, and he got a quote for shipping it by air, shipping it by sea. There was about a $2 or $3 difference per unit, but you've basically got an extra month of waiting around, not getting sales. There's duties and customs brokers and all sorts of delays can kick in. And just getting something shipped in straight away, up and selling, and get that momentum is definitely something that's worked really well for people that I've seen become successful Amazon sellers. So don't do anything too big and bulky. Small, simple and light is good. And I also don't like products that are risky. So anything where people might set their house on fire with some electrical paper lamp or something, or paper lantern for a light shade, that would terrify me. Or things to carry babies in, or swimming pool toys, like that sort of stuff just makes me not sleep well at night. I also don't want to sell products with claims like weight loss, or this will cure your acne, or this will ease your symptoms of diabetes. Even talking about symptoms like things like back pain. There's agencies in the States, especially more than in other countries, watching what's for sale on Amazon, watching what the sellers are claiming, and going and whacking everyone really hard who they think's making false claims or unsubstantiated claims, or language that's confusing customers. So there's the FDA that approves all kind of food and medical type products. There's also the FTC that protects consumer interests, and both of those agencies really watch what's going on Amazon, and they'll occasionally come in and do a big hit and get rid of everyone who's breaking rules or on the fringes of breaking rules. And Amazon cooperates with them fully, of course, because they don't want to get in trouble with those big agencies who do regulatory stuff. So small and light's good, simple and low risk is good as well. So nobody's going to probably sue you if your bonsai starter kit doesn't look exactly like it does in the tree later. I mean, you want to have something that works, but you also don't want somebody to die if it doesn't work. So keep that in mind. Simple and low risk is good. I've never heard of any Amazon sellers being sued over products, sort of for quality issues or false claims, but I have heard of Amazon getting kind of a class approach to something like weight loss tea. All the weight loss tea guys got kicked out in one go because they were all basically just selling laxatives, which had the desired effect but was not healthy for teenage girls who were guzzling buckets of the stuff, losing weight, but not doing themselves any good in the process. And it was just sort of preying on a vulnerable audience there. So play it safe, be ethical, and sell good quality products. So I like to sell to a wealthy demographic. So somebody who's a strong proclaimer of the benefits of veganism will be very happy to spend whatever it takes to buy their favorite vegan food, because it's what they talk about, it's part of their identity. People that want to eat organic food will pay more for that. People that have expensive hobbies, it's sort of part of what they do and what they expect to spend their money on. They don't expect it to be cheap, and it gives you a chance to sell a higher priced product, which is great. So I like products like vegan stuff or organic stuff, or things for expensive hobbies like, I don't know, sailing and polo, rather than, I don't know, what doesn't need any money. Meditation's pretty much free. You might need a cushion, and you don't need any gear to do it. So products that are a bit recession proof can be good as well. So something like incontinence products, people just need that if they need that, and they'll go to somewhere like Amazon to buy it. So lots of basics. You can do kind of a premium job of a basic version, sort of add a twist to it. So something could be cruelty free or fair trade, or maybe even handmade, gives it a more sort of quality perception. So that's something to think about as well. Another category that's always a bit of a funny one, it's not my thing at all, just to be clear. Like, I do not choose my products by swinging a crystal and throwing it and seeing what it lands on. I'm not quite sure how you even use crystals, but I'm not a crystal girl, but I do think that this is a good kind of demographic, good type of product to sell on Amazon. People are buying, their crystals or their tarot cards. They want some sort of transformation. They've kind of stuck with modern life, and they want something a bit spiritual and different, something on another level. They're very simple at the products themselves. I mean, you don't want to buy just stained glass from China, but you want to get the real crystal from the actual source, wherever it's found. And some of those products can go really well. So they're also not obvious products. The big internet marketers who do, dozens of different products picked through research tools. We'll talk about tools a bit later on, and I'll do some demos of how I use them and how not to use them. But these sorts of products, they're a little bit under the radar. They're a little bit woo-woo and alternative. They're not terribly serious. Again, kind of low risk, bit of fun. Some people might take them quite seriously, but the products themselves are kind of quite straightforward. So that can be a good area to look for product ideas, sort of spiritual and metaphysical type stuff. Now, pets. People go bonkers for their pets. So if somebody needs if they're into pugs, they're not a little bit into pugs. Pugs are their lives. They will buy every pug thing they see. They'll have pug jewelry, pug tea towels, pug socks, pug hoodies, pug stationery, pug bedspreads, you name it, cushion covers, teapots, anything to do with pets just goes berserk. The downside is it's an easy category to sell in, and a lot of people think of it as an obvious one where they're going to start out in their business. So tends to be a little bit more crowded. So, don't turn up and think you're going to win the cat collar game or the dog lead game. They're well saturated by existing sellers. So you need a product with a point of difference. You want a high price. You want it brandable. You can do something around one breed, or you could do something around some part of their training, or it could just be kind of almost like a decor thing. It's a theme that goes on to all sorts of other actual products. So if you went and looked at pugs or, I don't know, German Shepherds or something, there'll be a whole bunch of products with that as a theme. Things like kitty litter, I see people making a lot of money, but a lot of that can be kind of a bit commodity-like. So a point of difference is probably people doing all sorts of, special diets for their pets, or animals with special skin conditions. That more niche stuff is where I'd head in pets. Now, demographics, sort of age and stage of life. When people start to get a bit more housebound, they are less likely to be going down to the shops to buy the things they need. They might quite happily get an Amazon delivery when they need stuff. And this must be quite an old stock photo, because that phone there looks like it's from the 90s. But, any home living, sort of living aid type products can be really good. So people who are in wheelchairs, or even, in bed most of their days, they need convenient stuff. They might need a tray. They might need something to help them put their socks on. They might need something to help them while they're showering. They might need, so many products. And it's a nice category because, you're benefiting the people that you sell to. It's not really an obvious product that a lot of the other sellers go for. Some of them are, So something like a folding walking cane, a million people have done that. But some of these more clever kind of living aid type products can be very cool designs, a little bit less obvious and mainstream. And it might be, something quite niche to do with nail care or drying your own hair when you've got really stiff arthritis and you can't hold a hairdryer, or whatever it might be. There's all sorts of clever stuff out there, and they can be really good Amazon products. And that demographic's a really fast growing demographic on Amazon. So it's always good to go where the big trends are. And that's a really big trend worth tapping into and having a look at products in that niche. Also, this is just a funny little aside, but most Amazon sellers are this is a complete generalization, but a lot of Amazon sellers are males in their kind of 30s living in the States with kind of a vaguely techie background. So they might have done Google or eBay or SEO or something before they came into Amazon. So they tend to choose products using software tools, and they tend to sell products that they would use themselves. So they look around the house and go, oh, I could sell some resistance bands, or I could sell this supplement that I take, or I could sell, I don't know, I'm looking around my house now, so I'm going to be guilty of the same stuff. I don't have supplements or resistance bands, but whatever they've got in their homes is what they tend to sell. But there's not many granny Amazon millionaires selling. This is not a demographic of the geriatrics aren't big Amazon sellers yet. I'm sure they could, because it's a low tech business, but the people getting towards the end of their lives are they've got suddenly quite different lifestyle, different needs, different home routines. When people retire from work, they're suddenly traveling or doing stuff differently, want to make life easier and comfortable. And there's some brilliant products there, and not many people in that demographic selling on Amazon. So there's lots of untapped good little products in that category which could be real winners for you. So I mentioned this a little bit before as well, when I was talking about things like vegans being willing to spend more because it's part of their identity and something they're really passionate about. When people are passionate about something, or it's part of how they want to sort of be perceived, they don't just ride their bike. They are a triathlete, or they're a sailor, or it's just part of who they are. They're really into survival as stuff and prepping. And so that's the stuff they spend their money on. They're really into it. They really enjoy it. They're nerds about the products. They talk to all their friends. They're in Facebook communities. It's what they are and who they are and what they do. And it's what they spend their money on. So anybody who has an expensive hobby could be a good sort of person to think about what they would be buying, and seeing if you can find some Amazon products. So there's a jerky gun kit here. Not quite sure exactly how that works. I think you kind of just squeeze the meat through. Not sure. And then there's somebody really into sort of military type stuff. But it could be kind of tactical gear. It could be sailing. It could be any of those sorts of hobbies where you've got to have a bit of cash to get into them. So that could be fun, and you can build a whole brand there as well, sort of lots of related products but under one brand, which is nice. Products for women are good. More Amazon sellers are men than women, so men tend to think of products for men. All the products I've sold for women have gone really, really well, every single one, so that can be a good thing to look out for, and also great for gifts. Something a bit quirky, and that home decor category kind of feeds into this one as well. But gifts for women is a really, really good category, and there's a lot of searching done on that search term on Amazon every year. So that's a really good one to have products that are a good match for it. There's also just the benefit of Amazon's free shipping, which means that although the margins won't be huge, you can do some kind of bulk, boring products that just will get you some volume. So it could be something like a raw ingredient that you need for cooking, but it's not really had much done to it. It's just sort of a single ingredient. They're not wildly exciting. £20 is a lot of, whatever this is, quinoa. Don't know if I'd get through £20 very fast, but it just means the customer gets the benefit of the convenience of delivery, and it tends not to be such great profit margins, but often the big brands don't really concentrate on Amazon. They're very lazy. They're focused on retail and maybe their own website, and they've thrown some stuff up on Amazon but don't really specialize in running their Amazon business well. So you can often beat some big brands just by doing the basics well with some of those boring kind of products. So couldn't get excited about them, but they can help round out your portfolio a bit too. And just that industrial and scientific category's got some great products in that kind of theme. So I think we should have a little break. Next, we're going to look at how to find the best products within those niches. So I've got a whole product selection bunch of criteria, pages and pages of them. I'm not going to go into every last detail of all of them in this next session, but we'll start with the main ones and start giving you some ideas around how to find those products and how to assess them, how to tell if they're going to be profitable, in demand, not too competitive, and going to give us a nice passive income stream. So that's what we'll cover in a future video, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. So hopefully that's given you sort of some of the big picture of how Amazon works and which kind of niches are good ones to play in, because if you head off and think you're going to just launch a supplement casually or have a crack at dog collars, you're going to crash and burn. Those are categories that are just full of very smart sellers who know exactly what they're doing. There's no room on page one for a newbie who doesn't know what they're doing. You want to go and fly under the radar, find a good blue sky product and launch it for the lowest possible cost so that you've got the best chance of success with lots of products, not just sort of put the whole budget on one big order in one big launch. And then we'll have a look at the next step coming up. So looking at the actual individual products rather than the niches. So see you in the next video.